What's good, guys? Milan here. In this video I want to answer the most common question that I have gotten after doing over 100 Airbnb coaching calls, consulting calls. um, and the question is, Milan, how the hell can I make more money out of my Airbnb business? How can I make more money? How can I double, triple my profits to actually hire a general manager and have more time for myself, retire my parents, buy like finally one, two, three properties, start building a family, yada yada yada, etc., etc., etc. And what I realized after coaching all of these Airbnb clients, plus also in my own personal journey, which is almost 10 years doing Airbnb. I am the founder and CEO of Happy Host, a vacation rentals management company located in Chile. We have operations nationwide in 5 different cities. We handle a volume of checkouts of around 400 to 500 checkouts each month. We have made $10 million over the past couple of years. And what I realized is there's only three, and mark my words, tattoo this in your forehead, there's only three ways of making more money in an Airbnb business. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So the only three ways that you can make more cash, money out of your Airbnb business, being subleasing, if you own the homes, if you do management, revenue share, it doesn't matter the business model. There's only three ways that you can make more revenue and or profits. And these three ways are revenue management, having a high review score, and finally, and the most powerful probably, property acquisition. So just a quick, simple definitions for those who are relatively new here. Revenue management, in simple terms, is just making the most amount of money out of your calendar, meaning trying to increase the days that your calendar is with occupancy, hopefully 80, 90, 100% of occupancy, meaning all days are booked, and also at the highest price possible, which in this industry is called the ADR, average daily rate. And moving on to reviews, well, basically reviews are like in Airbnb, each guest can give you a review from 1 to 5 stars. And the thing that not many people know is that if you have a portfolio with a 4.5, 4.6, 4.65 review score, average review score, you could be making 10, 20, or 30% more if your reviews were 4.8 or higher, you know, for multiple reasons. Meaning you have access to superhost status, which give you more visibility and higher ranking on the search results. If you don't even have superhost status, just having a high review score will give you higher positioning on the search list, in the ranking, on the SEO of Airbnb. So it will give the guests more trust. If they're, for example, in case you don't know, most guests, the way they book is they select 2 or 3 properties that they like the most. Some of them, they do a folder with a group of friends, they share it, and they finally take the decision. And one of the key decisions on which property they choose is reviews, you know. If they're in between two, if a guest is in between 2 properties, very similar, prices similar, layout similar, location is similar, they're probably gonna take the decision based out of which property has the higher review score. So yeah, review, very, very important to increase your profits. And once you have your revenue management optimized 100% or as close to 100% as possible, then you move on to reviews, and once you have them optimized, 4.8 average review score or higher, there, unfortunately or fortunately, there's not too much you can do, to get more money out of your portfolio. The only thing that's left to increase the money, it's property acquisition, meaning adding more properties into your portfolio, adding more properties into your management, And this one is the property acquisition is the most powerful way of increasing revenue, increasing profit, making more money in any Airbnb business, because unlike revenue management and reviews, there's no cap, there's no ceiling, meaning that you can onboard as many properties as you want and can. You cannot have a higher reviews than 5. You cannot, there's a limit of how much occupancy you can have in the month, and there's a limit of like how much you can charge per property, but there's no limit on property acquisition. That's the beauty of it. So diving a little bit deeper, we're gonna do a double click and a triple click on each one of these categories, which I like to call levers, because it's like I like to tell my clients, my students, you have 3 levers to pull to drive more revenue in your business: revenue management, reviews, and property acquisition. So how can we pull the first lever, revenue management? Well, there's a couple of things that you can do. First thing, if you don't have, is install a dedicated revenue management software, which usually is going to be, the end result is going to be looking like you either install Price Labs or Beyond Pricing, which in my opinion, they are by far the most trustable, and they have the better algorithm, which only by installing them themselves, even if you don't have no idea what you're doing, even if you install it, is going to increase profitability, by itself, Unfortunately, the mistake that I see like many people do is that they have either no revenue management software at all, meaning they manually adjust daily the prices, or they use the revenue management feature of their own PMS, their own property management software, which newsflash, it sucks. It completely sucks. I mean, after 10 years in this game, I still haven't seen a revenue management, a PMS, a property management software that has a cool, a decent, a solid revenue management module, And full disclosure, I even use Guesty, which is one of the best and most expensive PMSs out there. And I've tried Hostfully, and I tried HostAway, I've tried VREasy, I tried several PMSs, and also I've seen the revenue management features on the PMSs of my students, and they have, they are very, very basic and old school. So no, I don't recommend you using them. Well, after you have your revenue management software installed, then the other thing that you can do to increase revenue management is customizations, meaning you can put some rules and some specific configurations inside the software, like last minute gradual discount, orphan day gaps, like minimum stay adjustments, seasonality, also, and there's like a bunch of many things. I don't want to get too technical into it because this is not the topic of this video. This is more like a big picture framework that you should have, but that's the second thing that you can do to increase the revenue. What else can you do to increase revenue management? Marketing and distribution. This will not apply to every single property manager out there, but it will apply to like 80%, I would say, which is some people only have Airbnb, or only use Booking.com. And when you start, usually you're leaving a lot of money on the table, and you can increase your revenue management by adding new channels like HomeAway, VRBO, Expedia, Airbnb, of course, Booking.com, maybe having your own website, etc., etc., etc. Another thing that you could do here, I'm sorry, this is like redundant. With clusters, I mean portfolio optimization. Portfolio optimization, it's a fancy word of saying firing crappy properties, firing crappy, shitty customers, I mean, let's face it, like if you've been in this game for any decent time, there's some properties and some hosts, some clients that they drive very, very low revenue and they drive a lot of headaches. They're very time consuming. So every now and then, for small companies, I recommend this doing every 6 months, but for larger companies, I recommend doing this like every quarter or even every month, depending on the size, and just like see which properties the juice is not worth the squeeze, meaning you're better off firing them and being conscious and being conservative with your resources and allocate those resources, meaning your team, your time, your energy, into higher and more profitable properties. And finally, the last thing that you can do to increase revenue management is cross sales. Just like with what you have, just try to like, of each stay you can drive some additional extra income, selling additional things like tours, transfer, rent a car, airport transportation, or any goodies, and you can get some extra bucks. Then moving on to reviews. What things can you do in order to increase your reviews? Where there's basically 6 big areas that, of course, you can get very, very deep into them, do a double, triple click and dive deeper into these 6 areas, but we're just gonna cover them in a very superficial way. The first one is guest communication. We don't know exactly how much this affects on reviews, but if I would have to say something, point to my head, it's at least 30% of the reviews. And sometimes I think it's up to 50% of it. Guest communication is the most important thing to drive high reviews, because the people that are leaving the reviews are human, and humans are emotional creatures. So even if you need to think about something, after 10 years in this industry, I realized that there's always gonna be mistakes in the property. There's always gonna be like something broken, some small detail. But if the guest feels that the company actually gives a fuck about them, actually cares, actually gives them support, emotional, psychological support, is there in the right points. We have actually a 7 points of communication checklist or framework that we use our clients with. And if you have the speed, if you have the right quality of answers, the feeling of the guest at the end of the stay is going to be way different, and this is going to drive higher reviews. By the way, just a super small parenthesis, nowadays there's so many cool things that you can do with guest communication. We have implemented AI, and basically 80% of the messages are responded by AI automatically, faster and better quality than a human. And we have all sorts of workflows. It's also important on which channels you communicate with. I see a lot of Airbnb business owners that they only use the OTA to communicate. Big mistake. Like WhatsApp nowadays has 99% of opening rate, and is gonna increase the guest experience by far. Then The second thing that you can focus on to increase the reviews is cleanings. There's a lot of things that we can do here. We like to use Breezeway, and there's many. I don't want to get too technical into it, but cleaning is a very important part of the review score. Then you have inspections related with the cleaning. You have the maintenance of the properties, which we also handle with Breezeway. There's the fifth thing that impacts the review score. It's review elimination process, which is something that these days a lot of people struggle with, and some people are not even aware that you can eliminate reviews on Airbnb, bad reviews, of course. And finally, just like understanding the resolution to review ratio, because the more resolutions that you like drive and ask and generate is going to impact negatively on your reviews. So you need to be cautious and aware of that. So in fact, you take care of the properties with the resolutions, but you don't do too many resolutions to the point that it will negatively impact in your reviews. And finally, moving to the third and most powerful by far way of you can make more money on your Airbnb business is property acquisition. And property acquisition, the best way to think about it is something that has you can subdivide it in 3 areas. To onboard a new property into your portfolio, there's 3 stages, and only 3 stages. You have first lead generation, you need to generate leads, And for those that are new here and don't know what's a lead is basically a name and an email and address of a property, which you can work until it becomes a client. So you can have like the best, most beautiful website, but if you don't have leads, if you don't have visitors, if nobody like knocks on your store, you are fucked, you're screwed. Like you need to generate leads. And this is probably the thing that people struggle the most with. The thing I like there's several ways to generate leads, like paid ads. You have organic, you can have word of mouth, you can have referrals, you can have cold outreach, you can have warm outreach. There's so many strategies, but you need a solid, consistent, predictable, and reliable way of generating leads to onboard new properties. So after, let's say you fix the lead generation, you don't have a lead generation problem, you have like 50, 100 leads every single month that you're getting, and you're like, nice, but what's the next step? What can I do with these leads? You need to capture them, and capture them in this industry is basically make them sign a contract, And how do you make them sign a contract? Well, usually in this business, it's like a consultative call. It's a video call that lasts usually around 45 minutes, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less, depending on like if the client is new in the industry, if they already know the basics of Airbnb, but if you might have a lot of leads, but you will not be able to grow your portfolio if you're not able to capture them, And there's several ways to I don't want to get too deep into this. This is like a topic for another video, but there's so many things that go into capturing the lead, like the speed to lead, speed to contact, speed is crucial. The channels where and how you contact your leads, what your sales script, what things you say or don't say to make them book a call. And inside the call, there's a whole sales framework specific to onboard new hosts, new homeowners, that are very important to make them sign a contract. And finally, when you sign the contract, congratulations. But but the war is not still finished. There's work to do. You have to onboard them, and onboarding, it's a crucial part because of many reasons, you know. The first one is like if you have a crappy onboarding, you're gonna have bad reviews immediately. If you take too long onboarding a property, you might even lose the client, you know. The client might have even signed, but if you're not fast at onboarding, you have high chances of losing them. Like people don't know this, you know, but after, if your sales pitch everything is perfect, but then after they sign, they felt like abandoned, that's a very bad experience for the host. And also, onboarding, and like many people know, is a procedure that takes a lot of time. You know, there's so many things that happen in there. Like, for example, you have to make sure furniture is like 10 out of 10. You need to make sure equip the property with linens, with towels. You need to visit the property to like just research all the information about the property and then put it in a document, and after that load it into all the softwares. Plus you're gonna need professional photography. You need to get those photographies for pictures edited, and then those pictures need to be loaded into all your systems with a very organized linear workflow. And all of this should and must be done in record time. And this is it, guys. I mean, honestly, we can go so many layers deeper into each one of these specific points, but the whole idea of this video is just to like give you a CEO founder high level framework strategy of how to scale an Airbnb business. And I wish I had this framework when I was starting out. This thing took me several years to understand within my own business, but also after just jumping on hundreds of coaching and consulting calls with vacation rental managers from all over the world that have many different problems, and usually they are very trapped and lost on the minutiae, on the small picture, and they are not problem aware. They think, oh, my issue is that I need a better software, a better PMS. Oh, no, my problem is that I need housekeepers. Or they are just like so confused, you know, because they are not able to zoom out and see things from the big picture. And your job as a CEO, as the founder, even if it's a tiny up and coming Airbnb management company with 1, 2, 3, 5 apartments, or you are like a seasoned veteran with 50 or 80 or 100 properties, and you have ambitious goal of like keep growing to 200, 500 properties. These are the only three levers that you can pull in your business to drive more revenue. So hopefully this framework helps you to take an RX, a picture of your business. And if you resonate with this framework and you see that your business has any problem in any of these areas, or multiple problems in many of these areas, and or if you see any chink in the armor, any Achilles heel in the armor of your business, book a call in the link below. We're gonna jump into a quick call, and you can explain me your problem. I see if I can help, and if I can help you out, that's amazing. I'll let you know, and I'll give you the clearest roadmap that you can have to take you from anywhere XYZ where you are right now to XYZ, what's your current goal for the next 6 months or 12 months. And yeah, that's it. Peace.